I am back with part two of this year in review. So I talked about blackjack real estate on the most recent podcast. And then this next one is about seven-figure flipping and also my personal life. So I'm going to talk about my personal life and journey. And then we're going to, next up, we're going to do some goal setting for 2021 and some different things. Maybe show you behind the scenes a little bit on some of the things we're doing inside the mastermind group for goal setting for you in 2021 that hopefully helps you even if you're not a member. So today we're going to talk about seven-figure flipping and also my personal life. And I'm not sure how deep I'm going to go in my personal journey, but 2020 was a big challenge for me personally. So let's just jump in. You guys heard some of the good things in some of the struggles that we had inside blackjack, some of the transitions that we're making inside the company. And if you missed that podcast, go back and listen to it. It should let you behind the scenes a little bit. Everybody thinks that, I don't know, everything I touch turns to gold, like I talked about last year, but that's obvious. It's not true in this podcast and also in any business that I have and run and own, and also my personal life. So sometimes there's a breaking point that you hit. There's a catalyst in change. There's something that you'll look back and you'll remember. You'll be able to put your finger on it as the defining moment of that time in your life. And I had a defining moment in this time of my life. I had my wife who we had talked about like how hard it is, how, you know, we're struggling, how we've been going to counseling and doing lots of things to try to figure out how to reconnect, how to move forward, how to get back to where we were before. But as you heard in the recent podcast that I did, it's about killing the past and moving forward and being stronger and continuing to get to know that person you are now. But we didn't know that. We didn't realize that. And she called me about a week before Flip Hacking Live and said that she wanted a divorce. And I immediately said, okay, you know, I don't want that. That's not what I want for my family, for me, for her, for our children. But I can't force somebody and convince them to stay, right? And so I didn't know what to do. You get into this point of you don't even believe it. It's not true. It's not going to happen. And I just kind of kept going. And it wasn't until I got back from Flip Hacking Live. So if you were at Flip Hacking Live and you saw me, you might have no idea that I had just found out that my wife wanted a divorce. And she was, I'm going to share a little bit more information here. She was living in a separate bedroom of our house at the time. And basically just, that was it. Like, I was like, I can fix this, right? I'm Superman. I can do it, whatever it takes, right? And I was just going to pour in. And I knew about 3 months before that I needed to elicit a change in myself and my relationship, but I didn't fully commit. I didn't go all in. I said, I'm going to work on this. And I did. I worked on it. But I would say it was surface level work. It wasn't deep work. It wasn't the stuff that we've done recently. And so the big defining moment was us sitting in the therapist's office right after Flip Hacking Live. And actually it was after I got back from Disney World. I went to Disney World, took the kids to Disney World. And when we got back, we were sitting on the therapist's couch and she said, it was a Monday. And she said, I have an appointment with a lawyer on Friday. And that was it. That was my fight or flight time. I can go all in and I can be determined to work on myself and to figure out like, what have I done here? Like and take responsibility and ownership. We talk so much about ownership and responsibility. And I wasn't able to unplug. I wasn't able to do all those things, but I'll tell you what, Tony Robbins has a quote that says, turn decades into days. And honestly, what happened next was me just going to my wife and sharing exactly how I felt about her. And there was about a day and a half of me just being just angry. I was angry and it was fight time. You know, I was just going to argue. I guess that's flight in this case. It's just, hey, okay, fine. That's what you want. Fine. And I'm still in love with you, so I can't be around you. I need you, you know, all of these things. I was just not myself. And a couple of days later, I just went to her and I said, you know what? I'm never going to be able to forgive myself if I don't share this with you, the way that I feel, and remind you of how we came together, why we came together, and who we are. And I did. I shared a very vulnerable, open, like got very raw, very sensitive, told her how I feel and expecting nothing in return. And then I just walked away. And the next day, things changed. There's a couple other things that happened, some other things that she got that she saw from other people, and things changed. We got to a point where we were both at the essence, right? If you attended Flip Hacking Live and you saw my presentation about the Shrek, we killed off the old us and we got to the essence of who we are. And we really saw what each other wanted and needed. And at that point, we realized that we have to work on this and we have to recommit to each other. And we did together. So both parties have to agree to this, right? But the easy way is to turn your back and say, fine, you want a divorce? Fine. I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to do this, move out, all these things. So let's go to the lawyers. And she canceled her lawyer appointment that week. And that was huge. It was the defining moment in my relationship and who I was and who I wanted to be. And I'll tell you now, when you talk about family, be able to unplug and be present when I'm with my family and turn it off. I can do that, and I'm doing it. And I'm using ice baths, I'm using cold water therapy, I'm using cold shower, I'm using meditation, all these different things that we talked about over the past couple podcasts. I'm using that stuff to be able to do that. Friends, make time for local friends, in person, not online, around the country. Be intentional, build those relationships by planning get-togethers and being social. We are doing that. I am doing that on a regular basis. We just had some people over this past week. Jason and Pili Yarusi just moved here from New Jersey. They have 3 kids, same age as ours. We are going to the zoo with other people. We're trying to reconnect with local friends. I'm having some lunches with other people in the local area here that I know. We're doing some really cool stuff. We just bought a horse. I'm trying to buy a farm right now behind our house. There's 13 acres behind our house that I'm trying to buy right now. And it's really about being intentional with that stuff, because we're gonna have friends over. We're gonna get some animals. We're gonna get some chickens. We're gonna plant some crops. We're gonna get back to nature. We're gonna get back to these things, and we're gonna fill up our love bucket, our internal love bucket. Love, date night with Lucy once a week at least with no kids. We've had a date night every single week, once a week at least, every single week since that day. And today, I'm recording this on Tuesday. We're going out right after I get off this. She's coming over here in about 10 minutes, and we're going out for the rest of the day on date, all day, all afternoon, all evening. And we're just gonna have a great time. And I'm surprising her. I'm doing random things. I'm finding cool stuff. I'm taking a couple hours to plan the date night. I'm not just saying, what do you want to do? Let's go eat dinner and go to a movie. No, I'm planning like a whole day together and different things that we can do that I think, and I don't know how much longer I can do this. I'm not the most creative person, but I'm doing that. Fun. Not take everything so seriously and relax. More Disney vacations. Seriously though, just enjoy life and remember that the days are long, but the years are short. And I'll tell you, I am trying to live every single day that if it's my last breath, and I'm okay with that. Like I actually can feel like I've done everything that day that I need to do. I'm not carrying around this weight. I'm gonna share, when I'm upset or frustrated or angry, I'm gonna share that right away. I'm gonna talk to her, I'm gonna communicate. We're gonna do those things. And I'm gonna have some fun, not take everything so seriously. Like we just bought a Jeep and we've been going off-roading and mudding and random stuff. I'm really enjoying that. I bought a horse yesterday. I'm gonna go, I can't wait till it gets here tomorrow. I'm gonna go horseback riding. If I feel like I just wanna throw the saddle on the horse and jump on, I'm gonna do it. And keep in mind, I've only ridden one horse in my entire life one time, and it was like last week. But I'll tell you, I fell in love with this little horse. It's so cool. Oh, I can't wait. So I'm not going to take everything so seriously. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to smile more. Kyle, you hear that? I'm going to smile some more. Environment. Remove the toxic people in my life and be okay with that. Also keep a clean and organized office. I need to work on this. My office is a disaster. It looked like a bomb went off all the time. But I definitely, the toxic people in my life, like what I've realized is that everybody in my life is there for a reason. And I will absolutely remove toxic people from my life and turn it off. But I've been way more open and understanding and forgiving to other people and realizing that everybody's got something going on. And we talked about it on a couple of the previous podcasts with Amanda and Bill and Molly Jane. You never really know what's going on in those other people's lives. So just being compassionate and understanding and forgiving and just listen. Like I'm just trying to listen more. So all this stuff is happening, be a better husband by supporting my family as much as I can to unplug and be present. Being present was the struggle that I've had for so long. At least 2 family trips to Disney World and 1 trip out of the country with Lucy. We didn't get the trip out of the country this year, but I made sure that I got those trips to Disney World at the end of the year. And we already have lots of stuff planned for 2021. my Christmas gift from her was a 2021 calendar, and she's this live in the moment, day by day person. She has some anxiety and some struggles for planning the future, and I love to plan the future. And so I'm trying to live more in the moment, and she's trying to live more in a bit of planning in the future. And we're helping each other with that. And so we planned a lot of 2021. Obviously, it's in pencil. We're going to have to make some changes, but we have multiple Disney trips. We have trips planned. We want to go back to Africa and go on safari again. So we got one of those planned towards the end of the year next year. We're both going to go to our trip overseas or in the Caribbean this year. We have an island mastermind in April that Lucy's going to come with me on. And we also have a surgery for James coming up. We have a heart cath for him in March that's scheduled. And we have a surgery for him probably around May for his hopefully last and final surgery, open heart surgery. So, and her being willing to plan all of that. We also have 2 weeks with her family in end of June, early July down in Orlando that they're going to fly over here. We got a lot of stuff planned this year, and just to be willing to do that is really exciting. So give away 2 houses free and clear to veteran families. So we got that done, which is awesome. And I talked about that in the last podcast. So a lot of stuff here for professional and personal, but I think that it goes together. I've spent so much time in the 7-figure flipping company this year, and I really just I carried a lot of the weight on myself, and I wasn't willing to back down from the goals that we set pre-COVID and huge goals in January, and things change in life and in business. And we've got to be willing to adjust with that. So I'm hoping that in sharing all this, I realize it's a lot of information. It's very personal, but again, this is my year in review podcast. And this is the kind of stuff that I'm willing and open to share. Like, there's probably somebody that's listening to this right now, it might be you, who is going through something like that, or you're close to it. And I'm going to tell you, like, don't wait to get to that breaking point, to that defining moment, to that time of fight or flight before you start doing something about it. And honestly, these areas in my life, if you listen to the recording from the cruise, if you're one of our mastermind members, you'll hear me say these same areas where I was struggling in for like a year plus. And I haven't given it the attention and the time that it needs. I've given it lip service. So if you really want to elicit a change in yourself, your personal life, your professional life, whatever it is, if you really want to elicit a change, you've got to commit the time and the energy to it, and not just say that you're going to go there or you're going to do that thing. Like, you have to give just as much of yourself to that as you do to your business, or you do to whatever it is. So it's really important to not just write this stuff down, but to look at it on a regular basis. Like, those family, friends, love, fun, and environment that I read, all those things, what I should do to get it up one level, I wrote that down and I put it in a bookshelf somewhere. And I didn't look at it again until right now. And it's so easy to see what I should have done when I look at, like, I know what I need to do on January 1st. And now I look at it right after Christmas, and it's the same. Like, it took a very, very difficult situation and a breaking point and a potential loss of my spouse to get me to do these things. Don't let that happen to you. And if it has happened to you or is happening to you, do something about it. You can elicit the change in your relationship, in your business, in your life. You can be the one to turn it around. You can be the one who walks up to your spouse or your business partner or whoever it is, and you become vulnerable and you tell them what you need to tell them. So that if we did end up getting divorced, if Lucy said, you know what, I'm sorry, I just don't love you, I'm leaving. At least I would have known that I gave everything that I could. I played all out. I left it all on the field. And she knew. And I'm so thankful that she felt the same way, because I know when we go back 8 years to that day that we met, and that's what I shared with her, that day that we met. And I talked about it at Flip Hacking Live a couple of years ago. I told the story. I was crying when I told it. But in that place, in that beer garden in England on my birthday, when I saw her, I knew that she was the one. I knew that second. And I had to fight to win her over. And I'm not ever going to stop fighting. And I just won't, because I know that we should be together. I know that I want her, and I want her to keep wanting me her whole life. And I'm going to chase her for the next 40, 50. I want 30, 40 years from now for me to look back, and this defining moment that we have, we look back and we say, thank God that we did this. Thank God that we both saw that at that time and we weren't willing to quit. It's a lot harder to keep going than it is to turn around. It's a lot harder to try to stay together than to get divorced. And in all this, I got a ton of clarity. I hate the way that I got it, but I got it. It was a very, very challenging year for me personally. Professionally, it was okay. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about who I am as a person and who I am as a professional, but it was a challenging year personally, really challenging. And I don't think it was the coronavirus. I don't think it was, I'm telling you, I asked for clarity. God gave me clarity. I got it. But I'll tell you what, I'm seeing very clear right now, and I'm so happy that I got it. And I'll give you a little sneak peek of next year. I'll share my goals at some point. I don't know if it'll be on the next podcast, the one after that. But my word for this year of 2021 is balance. Finding and maintaining balance in my personal life and my professional life is going to be the most important thing that I do this year. And so I've had words every year for the past few years that I've used. My first one was stability in 2019. 2020 was clarity, and 2021 is going to be balance. I'm excited about what's to come. Expect to see a lot more of that. So follow me on social media. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you've probably seen a big difference in the smiles that we have, the time that we're spending together, the photos, that like all that stuff is real, man. It's just amazing what's happening right now in my life. And I hope that you guys all find the clarity that you need now or in the future. And I hope that you all find the balance that you need in your personal and professional life. And I think it's really, really important. You're going to see a much better output from me, from my staff, from everything that we do when we have the balance that we need. And that's going to be my focus in 2021. So let me ask you this. What's your focus going to be in 2021? How was 2020 for you, personally, professionally, in your business, in your personal life, everything that you were doing? Take some stock in that. Sit down and do it. The fact that I do this, I put it out there, I can listen to it next year. It's just amazing. I don't have to repeat the same cycle. I mean, I listened to last year's and I realized that I didn't take my own advice. I didn't. I've done some really interesting things to make sure that I remember how incredible my spouse is, how incredible my family is, how important they are to me. And I can look at that every single day. It's up on the wall. It's on my phone. It's all over the place to remind me. And we need those reminders, those constant reminders of how incredible our life is, how beautiful it is, and how good we have it. So there it is. That's the year in review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. A whole lot of personal stuff and struggles, and hopefully you don't have to go through the same thing as me, and hopefully you can take some of this advice. I'd love to hear your feedback from this podcast, from everything that we do, from the emails. You can just reply to the email, take a screenshot of this podcast, share it on social media, tag me at Bill Allen REI, anything, the 500K challenge, the mastermind group, anything that we're doing. Give us a review. You can give us a review here on iTunes. You can give the mastermind group a review on Google, 7-Figure Flipping on Google. Just, that kind of stuff is huge for us. Our YouTube channel, a lot of stuff goes on YouTube. Subscribe to our 7-Figure Flipping YouTube channel, like our videos, share them, those kind of things. So tell us what you want. Tell us what you want to hear, what you need. Going into 2021, I've got some really exciting stuff planned. I got some big goals, big dreams, some changes that we're going to make, but it's all going to be in balance.